Please get your supervisor here.
Sure.
Because that's not how this works. Well, then she should know better. She should know better. And so should you, Mr. Garza.
We are allowed to step out with people who reasonably believe.
Yeah, dumbass people who don't know the law.
I'm doing what my sergeant says. Here you are, sir.
Do what the Constitution says.
10-4.
Your sergeant ain't gonna cover your ass when you get sued, dude.
A man was stopped by the police after making a U-turn without signaling. However, instead of simply being warned about the traffic violation, the officer informed him that they had received a call reporting suspicious activity, specifically that he was allegedly selling items in the area. We suspect this might be an illegal operation. You need to present your identification now, the officer demanded in a firm tone. Remaining calm, the man asked, "Officer, is selling things here illegal?" The officer hesitated briefly before replying, "No. But there are suspicious circumstances. We need to verify your identity." Unwilling to back down, the man pressed further, "Then please tell me, what specific crime am I being investigated for?" Rather than receiving a clear response, he was met with vague, evasive answers. The officer avoided specifics, repeating ambiguous phrases like "we received a report," "suspicious behavior," and "routine check." The atmosphere grew tense. A seemingly simple interaction was now revealing deeper issues about civil rights, transparency in law enforcement, and the boundaries of police authority. In that moment, the man wasn't just defending his personal freedom, he inadvertently became a voice reflecting a broader reality that many silently endure when ambiguity is used as a tool, and identity becomes an excuse for scrutiny.
You're being videoed for my protection and yours. What's your name, officer? Please identify yourself.
McLeod from the Clewiston Police Department.
And you, sir?
Officer Garza, Clewiston Police Department.
And what am I being pulled over for?
Well, two reasons. One, you made a turn back there without a turn signal. Two, we had a call about you trying to sell something at a store, and at two different stores at that, not just one. So a suspicious activity call. And we had to make out with you to see who you are and what you're doing.
Got you.
So can I have your license, please?
So what crime is that?
Well, there wasn't a crime committed because we don't know if the items are stolen or not.
Do you have suspicion that I committed a crime? Reasonable, articulable suspicion, either one of you, that I committed a crime, was about to commit a crime,
somebody
was in the process of committing a crime.
10-4, are there any stipulations?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Except that you abide by the law.
I am abiding by the
No, you're not. You're asking me for my ID illegally.
He conducted a traffic stop. That's
not how that
illegal.
works.
That is how.
No crime has been committed. There's no reasonable, articulable suspicion. Excuse me.
When you commit a traffic
suspicion?
infraction,
There's no reasonable, articulable suspicion that a crime has been committed. That a crime has been committed.
It was going to be committed. How do we know the stuff you have is not stolen? We got no way to prove it. No way.
Not how that works.
It's not. No way I can prove it.
Please get your supervisor here.
Sure.
Because that's not how this works. Well, then she should know better. She should know better. And so should you, Mr. Garza.
We are allowed to step out with people who reasonably believe.
Yeah, dumbass people who don't know the law.
That doesn't have to be dumb or smart.
If I have not been suspected of committing a crime with reasonable, articulable suspicion.
Two people have called saying you in this vehicle are trying to sell them items that they don't know are stolen. We don't know are stolen.
Then there's no crime.
Can you tell me that it's not stolen?
I already told you that.
I didn't ask. So how have you told me?
Because you said that you got a phone call and I asked you if that was illegal and you said no.
Called over the radio that's you.
Here. Here's my paperwork right there. Nothing illegal.
Is that so hard?
No. But you can't just get people's ID for nothing, Mr. Garza.
It's not for nothing.
It is. There's policy and procedure, and there's constitutional law that you swore an oath to, my friend.
Hold on. If somebody's standing here, and they're just standing here with no kids, and they're a grown person just sitting there, that's a suspicious person.
You know, I just got a call about some officers that we had to watch out for here that were breaking the law and the people's constitutional rights.
I can assure you that's not us.
You sure it's not you?
Not me. But look,
I have suspicion to believe it's you.
Are you gonna let me finish what I'm saying so you have an understanding?
How you doing, boss?
There's a supervisor right there if you want to speak.
How you doing, supervisor? We're just getting an understanding of constitutional law here. You know, no big deal. He said he pulled me over because he got a phone call that, we were selling stuff. I asked him if that's illegal. He said, no, that's not illegal, right? That's where we were at in the conversation. He asked for my ID, so I asked him again, what did we do that was illegal? For me to give you my ID, did we have any reasonable articulable suspicion that a crime has been committed? He said no. We got a phone call. 2 people said that items were trying to be sold. That's not a crime. Not here, not in Texas, not in, anywhere. It's not a crime.
My understanding is you were pulled over for a traffic offense.
That's not what I was pulled over for. Mr. Garza pulled me over. This woman pulled through here after. There was no illegal turn. That right there is a turnaround. You don't have to put your blinker on at that turnaround right there.
Tomato.
Right. So have you identified yourself, correct?
I told him who I was right there.
Perfect. All right.
It's not stolen stuff. I'm not trying to give him a hard time, but you guys can't just pull people over and say, oh, we got a phone call. Somebody said you were selling stuff. Let me see your ID. That's not how this works. I respect the law. You guys got to respect it too. You swore an oath to it.
Okay. All right. Hold on for there. Okay. Look, my name is Sergeant Nieves, badge number 0464. All right.
You know your shit.
Clifton Police Department. Yes. Look, we got a call at the Ace Hardware parking lot. Person just wanted to remain anonymous, saying that, hey, somebody was trying to sell a stereo in the parking lot, and that's it. They didn't request contact, nothing along those lines, all right? Look, he conducted a traffic stop. He was just trying to identify you guys. Everything's good. That's all we're trying to do.
Key word, try to identify.
That's all. Just try.
But that's not how that works.
Look, we're here, attempting to identify. That's all we're trying to do, all right?
Your name again?
Sergeant Tito Nieves. All righty, sir.
Be safe. Thank
Good
you.
one, okay?
And we can sell here. It's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
Especially if I got my sales tax license, correct?
If you are a business conducting business within the city, you need a tax business receipt.
Got all that.
We don't have
Alrighty.
that knowledge.
Thank you. But you can't receive that knowledge illegally.
But we can
okay?
ask you. just like
Okay,
if
and
you
I can
provided.
I can refuse.
Yes, you can, but we still need to figure out what you're doing somewhere. So until we figure that
You could
out,
try to figure it out.
until we figure that out, you are deemed a suspicious person. Do you understand?
Yeah, but being a suspicious person is not somebody that has been deemed reasonable, articulable suspicion of committing a crime, about to commit a crime, in the process of committing a crime, would give you the only viable and reason to ask for my ID. Period. There's no exceptions at all.
So the traffic stop means nothing.
That wasn't a traffic stop.
So you made.
You specifically told me, and you are being recorded in my truck too. You specifically told me when I asked you why I was being pulled over, you
Okay,
specifically
so
stated
when you turn-
that you got a phone call
Hold on.
about suspicious
I'm telling
activity.
I'm telling you. two
When
things
she
that
pulled
happened,
up,
the reason.
when she pulled up afterwards,
Hold on.
because she came
You really don't like other people talk
this
to
way.
you. How am I
Well,
supposed to-
I'm
how am I
teaching
supposed
you.
to articulate?
How are you supposed to learn if you don't listen?
What do you mean? How you supposed to learn if you don't listen?
I already know what the fuck I'm doing.
That's the problem with closed-minded people.
That's why I already know what I'm doing. That's
Listen.
why he left. That's why you're gonna leave, and that's why she left without getting my fucking ID. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I'm still conducting a traffic stop, so I do need your ID.
There's no traffic stop. For what? There's no legal traffic
When you
stop.
turn, do you not have to signal which way you're going?
On that turnaround right there, you do not have to signal. Absolutely not, because it's not a left turn.
What is it?
I'm turning, it's a turnaround. That's what that's made for. There's no stop sign there.
There's a stop sign right there.
That's not where I turned around at. I turned around further up.
So you did a U.
I didn't turn around right here.
Oh, all right.
Stop trying to dig, dude. That's not how this is gonna work, dude.
I'm doing what my sergeant says. Here you are, sir.
Do what the Constitution says.
10-4.
Your sergeant ain't gonna cover your ass when you get sued, dude.
From a legal standpoint, a citizen is not obligated to present identification unless there is a reasonable suspicion that they have committed, are committing, or are about to commit a crime. In this case, the man did not violate any laws. He was simply running his business and even presented valid documents to prove it. Initially, the officers accused him of possibly engaging in illegal sales. But when asked whether selling goods was itself a criminal act, they admitted it was not. Lacking any evidence, they immediately shifted to another justification, claiming the goods might be stolen property. Despite having no legal grounds, they continued to demand that he present identification, even when the man calmly and clearly explained to the sergeant that he had legitimate receipts and had done nothing wrong. The initial officer still refused to back down. When they realized they couldn't use the business activity as justification for their actions, they switched to a new accusation, a traffic violation, specifically that he had failed to stop at a stop sign. However, the man clearly stated that he had turned at a different location, one without any stop signs. Instead of admitting their mistake, the officers quietly walked away, having run out of excuses. From beginning to end, they tried to justify their actions with vague suspicions, ignored clear evidence of legality, and violated the constitutional rights of a citizen. What should have been a simple interaction turned into a deliberate act of harassment, ending in a shameful retreat.